Greetings, everyone. Today, I am going on yet another air travel adventure on Delta Airlines. I get a surprise upgrade to first class, and a baggage conveyor breaks in St. Louis. Please join me as I make my way back to St. Louis. Welcome to Salt Lake City International Airport. I'll try to make the exposition on this airport brief, as I will be producing a dedicated video on it soon. Currently, Salt Lake City International Airport consists of two concourses, lettered A and B. Delta has a monopoly on the entire A concourse, along with some of its SkyTeam partners, such as Aeromexico and KLM. The B concourse is where you will find the remaining airlines that serve this airport. Security was extremely empty for a Saturday afternoon at a Delta hub. I made it through in under a minute, and I was then in the A concourse. The fact that this airport is still in the middle of a complete from-scratch redevelopment means that the completed sections are brand spanking new. Everything here is bright, open, spacious, and comfortable. I decided to head to grab some lunch, and it was around this point that I got a huge shock, which changed my day entirely. I had just received an upgrade to first class for my flight to St. Louis. Somehow, flying out of a Delta hub, and as a lowly Silver Medallion member, I received a first class upgrade. Never in a million years did I think that would happen. I saw I was somehow first on the upgrade list when I checked in, but all of the first class seats were full at the time, and I figured that someone with higher status than me would surely check in, even if a seat opened up. Soon, as you can see, I made my way over to the B concourse. While over here, I just so happened to see my aircraft for today taxi by. November 383 Delta November is a 25-year-old Boeing 737-800 delivered new to Delta in October 1999. After satisfying my itch for exploring the B concourse, I continued roaming the airport, looking at airplanes, getting some trading cards from a pilot, and making my way towards my gate. My flight still had a while to go until boarding, so I kept wandering around and admiring my surroundings. Anyways, soon I was back at my gate and getting ready to board my flight. They called Zone 1, so I got my boarding pass scanned and headed down the jet bridge. I'm in seat 4D today, a window seat which lined up decently well with its window. Here's what my seat had in store: some special edition 100th anniversary earbuds, a small water bottle, outlets, and a reasonably sized screen whose size was made laughably small looking by the enormous gray plastic bezel around it. And who can forget plenty of dirt and grime. I'll admit, I was a little disappointed by the state of my seat and its surrounding area, considering that this is first class. Delta is currently in the process of retrofitting their entire 737-800 fleet with the same brand new domestic first class seats they now have on their A321neos, but that isn't an excuse to completely ignore the cleanliness of their existing cabins. The seat next to mine even had some trash left on it from the previous flight. The seatback screens let you sync with your SkyMiles account via the Fly Delta app on your phone, so I had a nice greeting once I'd logged in. Beyond that, you can mark content as favorited to easily curate watch lists for future flights and have them appear on your next flight. This is a feature of all seats on all aircraft with Delta Sync Wi-Fi and seatback screens, not just first class. The underseat area, unfortunately, was deceptively short. From what I can tell, this is because of the box that contains the electronics for the seatback screen. That's the price to pay for having a seat with more cushioning, I guess. A flight attendant announced that we were waiting on a pilot from an inbound flight, so we were sitting around waiting for a while. Unfortunately for us, Delta's unbearable boarding music was playing the entire time. That's definitely a new form of torture. Thankfully, our suffering was soon ended by the arrival of the missing pilot, and we were pushing back. We taxied towards runway 34 left and stopped for around 10 minutes so the plane could be de-iced. This first pass is a de-icing fluid, whose primary function is to remove any built-up snow and ice from the aerodynamic surfaces and body of the aircraft. In contrast, this second pass is anti-icing fluid. Its purpose is to prevent any further snow or ice from accumulating before the aircraft takes off. I believe the green color indicates that this is a Type 3 fluid. Disaster Breakdown has a video which discusses de-icing fluids in much more depth. Before long, we were on the move again and were about to take off. Flying out of or into cities with snow-covered mountains never gets old. Delta's in-flight Wi-Fi portal provides easy access to all onboard services, although it definitely feels like a page covered with advertisements. The flight attendant came by pretty quickly after takeoff and took our orders for the in-flight meal, along with snack and drink service. Here's the menu options, displayed in the Fly Delta app. Based on recommendations from the Delta subreddit, I ordered the short rib. It was savory and rich. Definitely has my seal of approval. The grits and shallot were also very good sides, but the carrots, not so much. The wild berry mousse cake was delicious. Not too sweet, just perfect. The movie I was watching for the first half of the flight is called A Real Pain. I actually visited where the characters currently are in this scene back in December while on a tour across Poland. Specifically, this is Majdanek in the city of Lublin. I finished my meal, the film, and soon we were approaching St. Louis. I took a moment to look in the arm of my seat where the tray table is stored for any additional dirt and grime, and I definitely found some. Not a good look, Delta. This flight cost $260 before tax. I earned 260 MQDs from this flight, along with 2,600 miles between my credit card, silver medallion bonus, and the base earning. We landed 24 minutes behind schedule thanks to our little delay back in Salt Lake City. Here's the full timings for the flight. Now for ratings. I'd give the flight 15 points out of 20 for punctuality due to the delay, which came out to be 18 minutes total in the end. Seat comfort is 12 out of 15, with the difficulties fitting my bag underneath the seat in front of me, and the dirt and grime contributing to the lower score, even if this is a first-class seat. Food and drinks, I'd give a 9 out of 10. Entertainment and Wi-Fi is an 8 out of 10. Service and crew is an 11 out of 15. The flight attendant didn't come around really after the meal, and unlike my last trip, there were no individual thank yous from the flight attendant to medallion members, myself included. Baggage handling is an 8 out of 10 for reasons I'll get to in a bit. Value for money is going to be a skewed answer, as I did get an upgrade. In the weeks leading up to the flight, upgrading to first class would have cost $252, so nearly double what I paid for a main cabin ticket. Therefore, I got an amazing value for what I paid thanks to my free upgrade. Delta definitely is charging way too much for main cabin on this route, as it is $260. Flights with comparable distances were $60 to $80 less, even on Delta. This is going to result in a value for money of 8 out of 10. Great if you snag an upgrade like this, otherwise not so much. Overall experience, 8 out of 10. A free upgrade to first class was super exciting and enjoyable for me, but the buildup of dirt and grime dragged it down. The flight attendant was also less attentive and friendly than the best I've experienced. In total, that's 79 out of 100. Somehow, the exact same rating I gave my last flight in Comfort Plus when I flew to Salt Lake City from St. Louis on an A220. Now, I'll explain how I got to my number of 8 out of 10 for baggage handling. We didn't have to wait very long for bags to start coming out, but a minute or two in, this happened. Headphone users, beware. So yeah, the conveyor belt seems to have been overloaded. Credit where it's due though, the baggage handlers within a minute had bags coming out on the adjacent carousel. After getting my bag, I went back to watch what was going on with the broken carousel. You don't see this every day. I made a passing comment to some of the other travelers that I found it a bit amusing, and one pointed out the bag which had been at the top of the conveyor when it started making those noises. He said, "Well, now I know why they say the weight limit is 100 pounds. Because that bag is exactly 100 pounds. If this isn't proof that Lambert Airport is in desperate need of a complete overhaul, I don't know what is. Anyways, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what I can do better, and hopefully I'll see you next time.